Hello friends at home. In this video I will be going over today's math pages with you. There is a second video today that goes through a digital lesson that we did with the kids here in the classroom. So I'd like you to watch that. It's kind of a fun way to learn a little bit about length. So in this chapter we're talking about measurement, and we are beginning by talking about ordering length. So on page 163 in your math books, I'm going to switch here so I'm writing on these ones. Okay, it says Emma has 3 pencils. Which one is the shortest and which one is the longest? Well, in order to figure out which is the shortest and which is the longest, the first and most important thing that we have to do is make sure that they all start at the same spot. Okay, if we start them all at different heights, it's impossible to tell which one is longer. An example I can show you is if I take these 2 pens and I lay them here on the table, and I could say, well, this green one is much longer than this red one. But if I don't start them both at the same spot, how do I really know they're actually the same size? So it's really important when we are measuring things by length and comparing heights or lengths that we always start them at the same spot. So we can see here that this green one is definitely the shortest. The blue one then would be second, and the third one would be the longest one there, the red one. So green is the shortest and red is the longest. So looking down here now at the practice problem, it says circle the shortest flower. So we can see right here that they all start at the same point, and because they all start at the same point, we can compare their lengths, and we can see that this one is the shortest. So you can circle that flower. On this side, we're looking at the feathers, and they want to know which one is the longest. Again, they all 3 start at the same spot, and we can see that this one definitely stretches the furthest. So this feather is the longest. Okay. Now, if we turn the page and we go to the top of the next page, we're looking at some little caterpillars, and it says order them from shortest to longest, and they're telling you to write first, second, and third. All I'm going to ask you to do is write 1, 2, or 3. Okay? So because they're asking us to go shortest to longest, our shortest caterpillar will be number 1. So looking at these 3 caterpillars, can you decide which one is the shortest? It's this middle one. So you can put a 1 on the line for the shortest caterpillar. Now looking at these 3 caterpillars, which one looks the longest? It's this third one. So you can put a 3. That leaves the middle one to be number 2. They wrote second. You just have to trace the 2. So shortest to longest would be 1, 2, 3. Now looking over at our pencils, we're going to put them in order, only this time our longest will be number 1 and our shortest will be number 3. So the longest one here, because they all start at the same point, would be this bottom pencil. So we can put a number 1 there because it's the longest. The shortest one then, which will be number 3, is this top one. You can see that it ends before the other 2, so that one would be 3, and that makes our middle one number 2. Looking down at the problem-solving question, it says Lewis placed the boards in order from shortest to longest. Did he order them correctly? How would you order the boards? Explain. Well, if he ordered them from shortest to longest, that means that the shortest should be number 1 and the longest should be number 3. But looking here, I see the longest is number 1 and the shortest is number 3. So he did not order them correctly. We can cross those off, and instead we can say shortest is number 1, middle is number 2, and longest is number 3. Looking down at the right about it, it says Alice ordered 3 pickles by length. What did she do wrong? Well, she forgot to start them all at the same point. Remember, if they don't start at the same spot, we can't fairly compare their length. So we always have to make sure that we start them at the same spot. Okay? All right, going on to the top now of the next page. This is just another review of how to order shortest to longest or longest to shortest. Let's take a look at these nails here. And it says, are these being put in order from shortest to longest or from longest to shortest? Shortest to longest. Instead of writing out the whole word, you can just put an S for shortest to L for longest. They are in order from shortest to longest. Looking at our logs over here, we start with our longest and then we go down to our shortest. So these are in order from longest, put your L, to shortest. All right, now we're going to compare some lengths here, and we're going to put them in order 1, 2, and 3. This first one, they've already done 1 and 3 for us. So our longest is 1 and our shortest is 3. So the knife was the longest, trace the 1. The spoon was the shortest, trace the 3. And that means that the fork is right in the middle, so you can draw a 2. Now for number 4, they want the shortest to be 1 and the longest to be 3. So the shortest one here is which? Yeah, the crayon. So go ahead and put a 1 next to the crayon. And now which one's the longest? That's right, the pencil. So put a number 3 there. And now we know that the marker is right in the middle, so that's number 2. Moving on now to the back page, we're looking at the ribbons. It says, looking at the ribbons, are they in order from shortest to longest or from longest to shortest? Yeah, the blue one's the longest, so these are from longest to shortest, L to S. And looking at our red writing utensils, we have the crayon is the shortest, then the colored pencil, then the marker. So these are in order from shortest to longest. Now we're going to number our lengths here. For number 3, we're going shortest to longest, so our shortest will be 1. They've already done 2 for us, so we know that our shortest is 1 and our longest is 3. And looking at the books, now we're going longest is 1 to shortest is 3. So from the longest, it would be 1, 2, 3. And down here, the problem solving says 3 pencils are ordered from longest to shortest. Draw the missing pencil. So if they're from longest to shortest, this one has to be the longest. This one has to be in the middle. So the pencil that we draw can be any length you want as long as it's shorter than both of the other 2 pencils. And number 6 says, why do you line up objects before you compare their lengths? And if you watch the digital video first, you've already seen this, and if you haven't, you'll see it in a minute. It's important that we line them all up because if we don't, like I showed you with the pens, we don't get a fair or accurate measure of which one's actually taller. Okay? So boys and girls, this was a pretty easy lesson today. It was a nice introduction for us into measuring length. And we will continue throughout this chapter to do more and more with measurement. So if you haven't already, make sure you watch the second math video today. There's no work to write down for it. It's more just an interactive video. You'll hear some of your friends in the classroom participating in it. And it's just a nice way to help you learn a little bit about measurement and some of the important things about it. Okay? We'll see you later, friends at home.